Alright, hey guys, remember CCG back in the video. The blue eye structure deck is almost here, and here's my deck profile. If you guys want to see the combos, it's going to be on the top right corner. So we're going to get started here with 2 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. So even though we're able to utilize it, we're able to bring this card out from the grave, and so we just want to run the 2 copies. It can still be a little bricky, so we just want to have 2 of these here. We have 3 copies of Primite Dragon, Ether Beryl. If you guys have seen the combos, you've seen how insane this card is and just how much it's able to utilize the Primite engine in order to assist the Blue Eyes. And then we have 1 copy of Master with Eyes of Blue. There's a few combos that kind of require this card, and even though it can be bricky at times, it's nice because you can use the discard effect of your other Blue Eyes monsters, and then from there use Master with Eyes of Blue to get that card back if you need to normal summon it. And the nice thing about Mausoleum is that you're able to get another normal summon out of it. So that's some utility just off of that. Sage with Eyes of Blue is still pretty powerful, as when this card is normal summon, you can add 1 level 1 light tuner from your deck to your hand. And then not only that, but you can discard this card and target 1 effect monster you control and send it to the graveyard, and if you do, you can special summon a Blue Eyes monster from the deck. Then we have 3 copies of Maiden of White, which is just a powerhouse in this deck, as you can send this card from your hand or field to the grave in order to place 1 True Light from your hand, deck, or graveyard in the face of spell and trap zone. So it's just a very powerful card. True Light here has a lot of utility, getting our Blue Eyes spells or traps, or special summoning a Blue Eyes from the grave if we need to. If you special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon while this card is in your graveyard, you can get it out, which obviously the obvious utility for this, level 1 tuner, you can go straight into your level 9 Spear Dragon. And then when a card effect is activated, targets this card in the field, or when this card is targeted for an attack, you can special summon 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon or 1 level 1 light tuner from your graveyard and special summon it out. And for the hand traps here, we have 3 copies of Nibiru. This is just the perfect time to be running Nibiru, 3 copies of Ash Blossom, and 3 copies of Effect Veiler. The nice thing about this is that this is a light level 1 monster, so sometimes you can get some utility out of that, but most of the time we're going to be worrying about our own Blue Eyes monsters here. Then we have 1 copy of Saga of the Blue-Eyed Dragon. It's able to special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your deck, graveyard, or banishment defense position. You can use the second effect as the fusion effect, which usually you're not going to be utilizing, but it's there. Then we have 3 copies of Prayers with Eyes of Blue. This card just adds a lot of consistency to the deck, as you're able to discard a card and add 1 level 1 light tuner and 1 spell trap that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand. And then you can also use this card to banish it and target a Blue Eyes White Dragon you control and equip it with the Blue Eyes monster from your extra deck and it gives it 400 attack. So the nice thing about that is that usually we're going to be attaching our Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. From there, after we get rid of that monster, Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon will then be in the grave, where we can banish it from the graveyard to negate the activation of an effect that would target one of our Blue Eyes monsters. And also it makes it possible to get out Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, because it is going to be equipped with a fusion monster, so you can just summon this out without needing to fusion summon. 1 copy of Pot of Prosperity, just to increase consistency. 1 copy of Synchro Rumble, which can make the deck a little bricky, but it's able to bring out a tuner monster. Called by the Grave, because hand traps suck, especially for this deck. Primite Drillbeam here, it's going to give you another form of utility for the deck. You're able to search this out, and it's a target face-up card in the field and negate it effect. Then we have 3 copies of the Lordly Lode. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Primite card from your deck to your hand. The usual target for this will be your Primite Drillbeam, and you're also able to special summon out your Blue Eyes White Dragon. Then we have 1 copy of Mausoleum of White, which is the new field spell. You can normal summon 1 level 1 light tuner in addition to your normal summon, so it gives you an additional normal summon, which is very powerful. You can target a face-up card in the field, and usually you're going to be targeting your Maiden of White, which will trigger its effect. And yeah, just a powerful field spell that we just need 1 copy of, because it is searchable. Then we have 3 copies of Imperm as another hand trap, 1 copy of Majesty with Dragons of White. You can show up to 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon monsters from your hand, field, and or graveyard, and destroy that many cards your opponent controls. And you can banish this card from your graveyard and ritual summon a ritual monster. So usually we're not going to be utilizing that part, but in the future, if Maya becomes cheaper and people want to run that, I think we're going to see more use out of that. And for another hand trap here, we have 2 copies of Dominus Purge. Still pretty powerful, as when a card or effect is activated that includes an effect that adds a card from the deck to the hand, you can negate that effect, and if you have a trap in your graveyard, which we have a good amount, you're going to be able to pop it as well. And 1 copy of True Light, as you're going to be utilizing Maiden of White to get this card out. And of course, you can use this to search out a Blue Eyes White Dragon spell or trap, or to special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Before I continue the video, I just wanted to let you guys know that I have a Patreon where you can help support the channel while also influencing the content I create. The link will be in the description, so make sure to check it out. And for the extra deck here, we have Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, which again, we're not going to be getting this out because this requires 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons, and of course we only run the 2, equipping it, and then from there it's going to be pitched, and then it can give you some Blue Eyes protection. And then we run 2 copies of Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. Again, we're going to be able to special summon this out after we equip our Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. And this card is nice in case we need it. It's unaffected by trap card or effects. This card can attack all monsters your opponent controls, and it's at 34, so it can give you a good amount of damage on your opponent. And if this card battled, you can target one trap in your graveyard and set it to your spell and trap zone. But if you need to, you can get some utility out of this by getting your Imperm back, your Majesty with Dragons of White, your Dominus Purge, or your True Light. Then we have our Crimson Dragon, which is going to be we're going to be utilizing in order to get the Cosmic Blazar, the Stardust Sifr Dragon, which are just an Omni-Negate, or yeah, this is like the definition of an Omni-Negate. And then the Stardust Sifr Divine Dragon, that's going to give us some protections and a monster negate. And then we have our Blue Eyes Spirit Ultimate Dragon, which is the new boss monster of the deck. Your opponent cannot banish cards from your graveyard, which I think some people kind of forget about that effect, as it's pretty strong. But not only that, but when a card or effect is activated on the field, you can negate it. And if you do, this card gains 1000 attack, and you can, after it dies, you're able to special summon a light dragon monster from your grave. And of course, we're going to be using Crimson Dragon in order to make this happen. And then we have one copy of Lightstorm Dragon. If we have to destroy some spells and traps, this card is great, and it was clearly made for Blue Eyes. One copy of Azure Dragon. This card is a little oldie but goldie here, as if this card is special summoned, you get until the end of the next turn. Neither player can target dragon monsters you control with card effects, and they cannot be destroyed by card effects, which is relevant for Spirit Dragon's last effect. And then once returned during your standby phase, you can target one normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it out, which is great because if you want to use Azure-Eyes Silver Dragon and you need a target for your Primite Drillbeam because you want to control a normal monster, then this could be great little combo here. Two copies of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, which is what's going to allow you to go into these. Pretty powerful as the true Blue Eyes monster here. And then we have two copies of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, as once returned during either player's turn, when effect of a card in the graveyard is activated, you can negate the activation, which is an underutilized part of this effect. Of course, it also screws over Pendulum decks, and then during either player's turn, you contribute this Synchro Summon card and special summon one Light Dragon type Synchro monster from your extra deck in defense position. Of course, we have a good amount of targets using the Crimson Dragon as well. Then we have one copy of Indigo Eyes Silver Dragon, which I'm seeing a lot of people aren't running, but I think it's a pretty cool one if you want an Exceed monster here, as it cannot attack directly unless it has a normal monster as material. If this card is Exceed Summon, you can negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent controls. So if you're able to go into this and your opponent has a stacked board, going into this and negating their effects is pretty satisfying. And you can attach one material from this card, then target one normal monster in your graveyard or banishment and special summon it. And if you do, it gains 1000 attack, so you can use this as an extender. One copy of Heretic Seals, bounce something on the board. Two copies of Spear with Eyes of Blue. It's just amazing as it's able to search out the field spell and tribute it in order to special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your hand or grave. And of course, it's a link 1. And now for the side deck are cards for you to consider. One card here is the Flameveil Guard, which is level 1 Dragon normal tuner monster. And if you've seen the combo, you can see why this card is powerful, but it's also a brick, so you can consider that. Two copies, or one of each of the Bystials here. They're Bystials, and you have a bunch of light monsters, so obviously there's that, and they're dragons, so definitely if you have space for it, I would run it. And then one copy of Dragon Master Magia if it ever goes down in price. We can start looking into it, potentially running rituals, but you can see right now the deck is functioning pretty well without it, so we might just skip on that. And then the Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon and Ultimate Fusion, in case you want to go that route and lean in more on the fusion side of Blue Eyes. But if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.